Hey guys, just hopping on here because when I had the conversation yesterday with AR Hayes, I was just thinking about ways to make a difference, in terms of prison reform and helping people who are caught up in the system unjust, unjustly. And then I remembered that a long time ago I had seen like a GoFundMe for Bryan Kohberger or a change.org or something. So I found it, um, because I have screenshots, but, it's no longer on change.org's website, and I'll show you in a second because there are some other things on there that are interesting if no one's taken a look. But this is the one that I had screenshot, and this was probably, I'm gonna say, over a year ago, maybe like 6 months after it happened. Someone posted this on change.org. It's really long too, and it sounds like somebody who was, like, spiraling with all of the questions in this case, but anyway, here goes. At 2:20 AM on November 13th, 2022, over at 1330 Linda Lane, Xana can be heard yelling this, "It's a lie. The police lied. It's all a big lie." Listen to what Xana said because it is true. We've recently learned that two cartel leaders were present at 1122 King Road and 1330 Linda Lane. One is somebody from Washington, I guess, and another one is somebody from Montana or Oregon. I don't really want to say because I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. So, but they're saying two. She's okay. So let me just read it again. One is a cartel person from Washington. One's a cartel person from Montana. A female informant knows both of these cartel leaders, and she was staying at the cartel leader's house in Montana in 2016. They said in 2016 they need to pin something on Brian K because he refused to sell drugs for Doug, whoever that is, when he was in Pennsylvania. They waited 7 years to finally pin something on him. Ann Taylor said this before the gag order was in place. Quote, Brian was chosen for this long before he came to town, end quote. That's interesting. I've never heard that or seen that anywhere. If anybody has, let me know. It is believed that Bryan Kohberger is a federal informant working on a task force to bust a drug trafficking ring. It is believed that BK may have been an informant as far back as 2016, and he knows everything and everyone in the cartel. Okay, this is starting to sound a lot like fiction, right? Also, someone said that cartel, sorry. Also, someone said that cartel Washington guy used to own 1122 King Road in the past. This King Road house has been used as a drug trafficking ring house for years. The drug trafficking ring is run by outsiders, and they name, the man that got shot in a, they just name some initials, DR, EB, QK, and some others. I just don't want to throw out people's names. I'm starting to feel more funny about that. It does not mean all of the Idaho 4 were druggies or drug dealers. This was a drug trafficking shakedown turned murder. The first motive, Idaho 4 were about to talk to federal investigators about drug and human trafficking, and they needed to be silenced. Second motive, Maddie had flushed 100,000 in drugs a week before. This is where I got that rumor from, guys. This is where I saw this. I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm just reading you what somebody wrote on change.org. Maddie flushed 100,000 in drugs a week before. And three, Jesse James, you guys know his name's come up a lot, had allegedly put a hit out on the house, and Idaho 4. And lastly, Sigma Chi had their own motives. This is a lot, right? Another truth that has been hidden, there are two crime scenes, King Road and 1330 Linda Lane, the Fight Club apartment. An informant told us months ago they used more than one car. Hold on. Got to find where, sorry. They used more than one car, and they used more than one house. And the two leaders were seen at the two crime scenes. The alleged killers are drug dealers, and people in gangs and frats and cartels. This is what this person's saying. The cartel was in charge of this operation. Money from drug trafficking funds, traffickers, universities, Moscow Police Department, FBI, ISP, politicians, businesses, Christchurch, etc. Wow, she's just got everybody in there. This is starting to sound a little bit like Q drops, but justice for the Idaho 4 means get the right killers and not the patsy. Free Bryan Kohberger. This woman wrote all of that out for real and asked people to sign a petition to free Bryan Kohberger. But I think the point for change.org really isn't to, do your Reddit story there and have, because I don't know, well, it's been taken down, but it was up for a while. Regardless, the reason I know it's been taken down is because I went. And so let me just show you here what it looks like over here. So you just go to change.org and then you just search petitions and you put in this. Whoops. And then they come up, right? So we've got a few of them here. And so there are people out there that may feel the way you do in terms of how this case is being handled and the way I do. So let's just look at this first one. Exonerate Bryan Kohberger for violation of his constitutional rights. 229 people signed it. This is a deeply personal issue because it could happen to any one of us. Bryan Kohberger, an ordinary citizen like you and me, has been wrongfully accused due to a violation of his constitutional rights. This is not just about Bryan. It's about the fundamental principles that our justice system stands on: fairness, integrity, and respect for individual rights. The Constitution guarantees every American certain inalienable rights, including the right to a fair trial. However, in Bryan's case, these rights were blatantly disregarded. It's essential that we stand up against such miscarriages of justice, not only for Bryan, but also to ensure that our legal system remains accountable and just. We are calling upon the relevant authorities to review this case with utmost urgency and rectify this gross injustice by exonerating Bryan Kohberger. We believe in the power of public opinion and its ability to bring about change when all other avenues seem closed. Please sign this petition if you believe in justice, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe that no one should be wrongfully convicted due to their constitutional rights being violated. Stand with us as we fight for justice for Bryan Kohberger. And the person is Melissa Pittman. And then there's some comments down here. And, there's a lot of comments that we all been talking about over on YouTube. And, it's pretty cool. I personally like this one, what this lady said. Hopefully will this work?
Hello, I'm a mental health advocate and I am been following this case very closely, and it has triggered me, and like knowing just anybody off the street can get arrested and put in jail like that. So basically I signed this petition because I believe he's innocent. Maybe he's not, I don't know, but let's be smarter, government. Okay.
I just really appreciate that lady. When you sign the petition, you can leave a voice thing like that woman did. And I just love that she just showed her face and said what she thought, and even said, kind of like, I don't think he did it. Maybe he did. Like, she's kind of like doing that because she likely maybe she has dove into it like we have. Regardless, it's that feeling that we want people who are guilty to be prosecuted. This is like an obvious thing. So whenever people say weird stuff about when we talk about our rights, it's just a way to divide people. It literally is. They're just trying to shame us into shutting up. And I'm not going to shut up about this. So basically, we have the right to talk about this and to talk about how people are being treated poorly. And I just really like the way that this woman worded it. And, because she can see this isn't good. Whatever this isn't good. So anyway, you guys can go over there and see that one. So that's one of them. And then let's just see, there's some other ones. Let me go back. All right, so then we have retain Ann Taylor as counsel for Bryan Kohberger. This is from Emmy Headstone in New York. This was created in February of 2023. It looks like 30 people signed it. Sign this petition to retain Ann Taylor as Bryan Kohberger's attorney. Ann Taylor, the chief of the Kootenai County Public Defender's Office, began representing Kohberger 28 after he was extradited. And basically, they're just letting people know there's no conflict of interest, which there wasn't. And that's interesting that somebody started a petition for that. That's an interesting one. Well, even though there was only 30, 30 people cared enough to do that. I just saw it, or I would have signed it then. Let's see. And let me go back. What's the next one? This one's good. Terry Heisel from St. Petersburg, Florida. And this was in May of 2024. 23 people. Bryan Kohberger, a young man caught in the crosshairs of an extremely prejudiced mainstream media, is facing an uphill battle. The horrifying murders of the Idaho Four have gripped our nation, and unfortunately, Bryan has been implicated in this case. Despite substantial evidence showing multiple people involved in these killings and numerous witnesses who did not identify Bryan among those killers, he is still being held accountable. Wow. The bias against him is palpable, from Latah County to Judge John Judge. The media's portrayal of him has already tainted public opinion, so much that it threatens his right to a fair trial. This situation could lead to dire consequences, even execution by firing squad. It's crucial that we uphold the principles of justice, innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. A change of venue for his trial would be a step towards ensuring impartiality and fairness in this process. We must act now to prevent an irreversible miscarriage of justice from taking place. We call upon you to support this petition demanding a change of venue. Again, I didn't see this until just now, obviously, but that's really cool, This is hilarious. The decision makers. Interesting. I'm sorry. I thought John Judge wrote a spot. That's not what happened, though. I was like, really? Okay. I thought he saw and made a frowny face. That seems like something that man would do, honestly. Although he likes to play dumb like a fox. We know you're not that dumb. All right. And then let's see. Demanding full transparency in all court hearings and matters concerning Bryan Kohberger. 15 people signed it. We, the undersigned, call for full transparency in all court hearings and legal matters. So this is just, if a million people sign this, right? If a million people sign this, it might make a difference, right? But and I'm sure there are a million people that wouldn't mind signing this, right? Like, just think about worldwide and stuff like that, right? They're following this case. At least a million that would want to sign this. And if that happened, you could get Hitler to, it'd be at least a lot of public pressure, put it that way. So it is something that's possible. It's just a matter of mobilizing, people's attention into the thing that you want to try to work on and help. But it's also about doing the work yourself too. I'm not saying like just getting people to do stuff. I just mean clearly like walking the walk, talking the talk, but also this is something that's simple, right? Like just sign a petition. Like if we were to create some kind of a petition or something, right? And then this one I have to read just because I can tell it's going to irritate me. Look at this one. Stop animal abuse and hold the abusers accountable. Most of the Pacific Northwest have been affected by the animal abuse that happened in Spokane, Washington by minor Callie Bergen and her sibling Brooklyn Bergen and cousin Liam. There are 4 full-length videos showing the animal abuse. They are laughing, continuing to torture Sam with no... I wouldn't be able to watch that, okay? I wouldn't be able to watch that. Unfortunately, the animal is partially blind and deaf. And that's so disturbing. I wish I never knew that happened. Okay. On February 23rd, this petitioner, Madison Barnett, called Spokane to report the horrifying abuse that the miners inflicted. Okay. I then called Scraps in Spokane. It took established military personnel, the community, to keep calling to have them take the call. Wow. Wow. Imagine how upset you would be. There have been millions of people enraged, hundreds of impact statements sent in, and no charges have been filed. Oh my. The only thing that has happened was animal abuse in the second degree. So far, Callie has posted on social media. This is really disturbing. If nothing changes, who is to say we are not going to have a repeat in Jeffrey Dahmer? It starts with this, basically. The time to act is now. With as many murders that are happening, i.e. Bryan Kohberger. Okay, you had me up until this part. I'm all for the animal rights. Of course, her last name is Rogers, Rodgers, but that's the person who makes the decision. Madison Barnett is the person who did the thing. Yeah, that's very disturbing. And honestly, I'll come back and sign that. But I also will leave in the comments that he's an alleged murderer. I'm gonna have to say that if I sign it, because just to call him a murderer like that is not cool. All right. So anyway, so you guys could come over here and take a look. They had one for the demolition on that. I was surprised by that the Gonsalveses didn't fight more or push back more on that. But yeah, that's really it, guys. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Any questions? And not even gonna do any outro right now, guys. I just want to pop on and show you all what I found, and I'm curious what you guys all think about it.